Councilmember Carter, can you hear and see us?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll
And I
start in just a
appreciate,
second.
appreciate what you did. That they don't. I mean, I know it's
You planted a blueberry.
a little bit of a challenge, but sometimes I can barely hear what's being said.
Yeah, I'm going to constantly remind them throughout.
If they speak into the mic, it's real easy. But if they don't,
That is always the challenge.
yes. But I do appreciate your help. Thank you.
It's true.
Blueberry flavor. It's an essence. It has a blueberry essence.
Okay. All right. Well, shoot.
That's funny.
What? How about Momo? Do I have that? No, I do not. Let me have it. I take it back. Yes, I do, right here. Come on. Give me 1 second. Everybody on the left, ready to go? All right. Manager, city clerk, you ready? Okay. Fire chief. You want to do the prayer? Thank you.
Let's pray. Father, as always, we just pause for beginning of our time tonight together to be grateful and to focus on you. We've all come here today from our crazy individual Mondays with all of its blessings and struggles, but we thank you for the opportunity to come together and partner with one another and to partner with you to do the work of the city of the people of Mary Esther. We're so grateful for people like this that are willing to give their time and sacrifice their evenings to do the work of their neighbor. And in that vein, we thank you for our military men that are here that are also willing to sacrifice so many things for our safety. And also we lift up Walton County Deputy May and his family. We thank you so much for the courage of a man like that would sacrifice himself for his fellow man. Your word tells us that there's no love like that of a man that would lay down his life for another. So we pray a blessing of peace over his family and pray that you would stay close to them in this time. We thank you for this time together and we ask that you would bless it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Calling to order the regular meeting of the City of Mary Esther City Council at April 7th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you. Now I would like to ask the city clerk to do a roll call of the council.
Mayor Pro Tem Sutton.
Here.
Councilmember Coxwell.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Oder.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. We have one council member missing, Larry Carter. I'd like to have a motion to include him in tonight's meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a first
I'll second.
and I have a second. Would everybody please vote? We're unanimous on that. Okay, Mr. Carter, you're involved in this meeting, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and item number 5 is approval of tonight's agenda. Is everybody happy with the agenda for tonight, what we're going to be doing? If you are, do I have a motion to approve?
Also make motion.
Okay, I have a first, Ms. Sutton,
I'll second.
and Ms. Coxwell is number 2 on the motion. Go ahead and vote, please. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Thank you. And we're unanimous on that. Item 6 is special presentations, Holbert Field and Community Partnership. Lieutenant Colonel Stapler, would you
All right. Well, good evening. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Sean Stapler, and I'm the base engineer for Hobart Field and the 1st Special Operations Civil Engineer Squadron Commander. I appreciate the council giving
Sure.
us an opportunity and to give us the floor to speak for a few minutes about partnerships. So first, I'd like to thank the city, including Jared and the city manager's office, for all the support and teamwork through all the various traffic initiatives we've been working through for the region, right, impacting our collective area, particularly for the collector road west of the base.
Sir, can you adjust the mic?
Oh, sure. Is that better? All right. So for the collector road west of the base, and then we've also been working an easement on the southeast corner of the base to make it easier to maintain the stormwater system too. So we'll keep working towards that effort. But the reason I'm here to talk just briefly is about a particular form of partnership, the Intergovernmental Support Agreement, or IGSA as it's called. For those not familiar, an IGSA is an agreement with the state or local government to provide, receive, or share support services that the local partner currently performs. So on Hobart Field, right, our mission comes first, and our priorities are readiness, lethality, and warfighting. Obviously, right, as a Department of the Air Force and Department of Defense, and warfighting across the spectrum. But at the same time, we need to operate and maintain an installation infrastructure to serve as a weapon system platform, right? Our installation is the weapon system. Air Force missions start and end and operate on an Air Force base. We support about a population of 24,000 people who work and or live on the installation. We've got a physical plant worth about $4.6 billion, about 1,200 facilities and associated infrastructure to include water production and wastewater treatment. So we share a lot of the functions, that city, municipality, et cetera, like a public works department would support as well. So as funding is steered to the higher warfighting priorities, we, the Air Force, need to think creatively about how we can leverage capabilities that exist within the communities such as yours. So we know there's some common ground there between the community's responsibility and our responsibility as an installation. So we spend, on average about $15 million a year maintaining our installation, and that's just the day-to-day operations and maintenance of the installation. Some of that we do in-house with our workforce. We have about 350 folks, about 2/3 are military, and we also use service contracts and general contractors, et cetera. So we do about $3 million a year in service contracts, everything, what we call the big three, but refuse, grounds, custodial, et cetera. And then we do about $4 million that's in-house shop maintenance, anything from HVAC to, structural work to utilities and plumbers, pavements, electrical, et cetera. And then we do larger scale projects like that we contract out, like large scale roof work, some large scale airfield pavements, et cetera. So about $15 million in requirements in total. So what are we looking to do? We're looking for opportunities, functions that we do to operate, maintain the base that are predictable and they're repeatable. Some work that doesn't necessarily offer direct training value for our military, right? Some of these tasks are really important, but not all of them are tasks that we are training our folks to do downrange. Some work that we don't have the organic capability to do, or some work that's not inherently governmental. So the reason I'm sharing all this is because we've begun some preliminary discussions with the city to identify IGSA opportunities that could be mutually beneficial. So we're exploring potential IGSA avenues to include wastewater treatment, because we both share, a common issue there with treatment of wastewater and obviously maintaining compliance with regulators in the state. And we're certainly open to other opportunities as well. So in essence, we're looking to find what's common between us in terms of responsibilities, and together look for opportunities to share resources. Can we create better economies of scale by partnering together and getting better costs and so forth? So in essence, we're just here to ask for your continued support. as we continue to pursue these opportunities and as we start to formalize them. And we realize, the Department of the Air Force is a large organization. Some of these things take time to work through those processes, right? So just ask for, I'm being, right? So,
Yeah.
just ask for some patience there. But I can tell you that all the preliminary discussions we've had have been very positive. There's a lot of support, certainly from our organization as the base engineers and with our leadership. And we've brought in some folks from the Department of the Air Force that would ultimately have to approve these. And we've gotten a lot of preliminary support as well. So we're going to continue pushing this and just ask for your continued support. And if there's anything we can do to help, we're certainly ready to do that. So with that, if you have any questions, but that's all I have, and I appreciate the time.
You have our support. We definitely would like to get with you guys on that project, especially.
Absolutely.
That's something that's been, our thorn in our side for many years now. And this is a good opportunity for us to combine efforts and do a, economy to scale and get it done. So yeah, we'll wait as long as it takes for you to, work through your wickets, and we will definitely support you any way we can. That's for sure.
Great.
Any
Well,
more-
we appreciate it.
Any comments, questions?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Ma'am.
So we actually just, 2 weeks ago, we're down in Tallahassee, myself, the mayor, and Jared Cobb, our city manager, and we did speak very highly of you as well. And you do have support from our local senators, Senator Gates and Senator Trumbull. Both have offered, letters of support to whatever they can do to help aid you guys as well. So it is a community effort, and it does take a village sometimes. So we greatly appreciate government is slow and painful at times to get things done. So we understand because it takes us a while to get things done as well. So we definitely appreciate the effort that y'all are putting into this.
Great. Well, I appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to pursue every possible avenue that we can. IGSAs being a big one that we're pushing. We'll look at, DSIP and other programs as well, but ultimately, with the objective in mind, but we'll pursue any avenue we can.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. Yep, we'll see you. Yep, thank you. Yep, good night. Thanks for coming. Okey doke. Number 6.2 is Yard of the Month. Do we have a picture?
I don't think we have any.
Yeah, we do have one.
Have one?
721
Turn it in.
Crestwood Street by Mrs. Sutton. You found it?
I didn't have to be named.
Huh? Okay, this is the one she found.
The,
Want-
the
tell us
picture,
about it?
it actually the yard, I'm not sure who lives here, but driving by in this neighborhood, actually Mr. Carter, I believe, lives close by. They've really worked on their yard a lot, and I've seen this, unfortunately, it was kind of a very overcast day. It looks prettier in person, but they've done a lot of great improvements in their yard and have really worked hard to clean it up and shape up
Okay.
the landscape and.
Yeah, we're starting the Yard of the Month again, kicking it back off because we're springtime and we're out of the winter time. So we're taking recommendations from anybody who's interested in providing a picture to the city clerk or just an address. We'll even get the picture if you have a yard you wish to talk about. But this is the only one we have for tonight. And I am going to go ahead and, with your permission, give them Yard of the Month for the month of April. And then we'll pick it up in May, and hopefully we'll have several then, and we'll press on from there. Is that okay with you guys?
It means
Okay.
residents can nominate people.
please.
It doesn't have to be us.
Yeah, it's in the
know anybody.
website and everything else, but they just feel.
You have
yes.
a motion.
Oh,
I'll make that motion to approve the current yard of the month.
I have my finger on it. You're rushing the game here there, city clerk. Back off. Okay, as I was so rudely interrupted, do I have a motion to award Yard of the Month, April 2025 to 721 Crestwood Street?
Crestwood. Yes, also make that motion.
Okay, I have a first
I'll second.
and I have a second. Any comment? Let's go ahead and vote. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we're unanimous. Okay, City Clerk, if you would work a packet up and I'll come get it and I'll make the presentation, get back to you on that one. Thank you. Okay. Item number 7 is consent agenda. Does anybody wish to discuss or add or subtract anything from the consent agenda at this time? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Also make that motion.
Okay. I have a first.
I'll
Second.
And I have a second. Okay. All right, Mr. Carter, we're going to let you do the second, okay? So you got the second. Any discussion? Let's go ahead and vote, please.
Yes.
Thank you. It's unanimous. Moving on to item 8, citizens who have requests to be placed on the agenda. I have none for tonight. And number 9 is public comment, non-agenda items. Does anybody wish to speak on a non-agenda item that can be discussed tonight? I mean, any subject whatsoever. Go ahead. Please go up to the microphone and your name and address, please. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, my name's Koki Tyler. I'm over here at 522 Hollywood. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my neighbors of the setbacks for Mary Esther. Fort Walton Beach, the setbacks are 3.5 foot. Depending on the size of the building, when you get into Mary Esther, it goes to 7.5 feet. Speaking with myself and my neighbors, we all have 2, sometimes 3 outbuildings. They're all little buildings, 3 foot off the fence. But if we want to replace those 3 buildings with one, then it goes to 7.5 foot, which either puts it smack in the middle of the backyard or requires removals of massive trees. How can we get this setback changed to where we're kind of the same as Fort Walton or someplace closer to that?
One thing, if you have, it's real easy, it's in the document right now, a variance. If you can prove that it would make more sense to do what you just said for a rebuilt building, you're welcome to come to the LPA and do a variance request, which means you're making a change from what the record's of 7.5 feet to show that you can move it closer for a reason. And you got to show a reason, like removing a big tree or something like that.
Okay.
And normally the city will work with you unless there's some underlying reason why not. So
Okay.
that's called a variance. Now, the other options would be to change the ordinance, which probably, you know, that's more complicated.
Okay.
And that requires, that could go for houses, garages, I mean, a lot of other
Right.
stuff than just a place to put your lawnmower.
Right,
So,
no, I'm talking big sheds.
so yeah, that's one option you always have, is to request a variance. People do it all the time. And
Okay.
it's, you know, you get with the planning or code enforcement, they'll show you exactly how to do
Okay.
that. But that's,
And
you know,
come in and file a variance and
well,
show where
you
the
do a
trees are.
variance, there's paperwork, and
Okay.
then it'll come in front of the council. The council would actually approve or disapprove the variance based on recommendations from the staff and everything else. So that is definitely an option you always have as a citizen.
Okay,
So no matter what the rule is, you
no matter
know,
what the rule, we can do that.
you can do
Yeah.
that. You're right.
Because 7.5 feet kind of
Well,
takes away a lot of yards.
if there's a tree in it, you got to show that it's a tree in the way and not
Yeah.
just, I want to shove it up against the fence because that's where it was. That
Right.
would not be a good reason, I would think. But if you had
But
some
if the
more
giant
reason, it's
trees
going
are
to be
there, then-
bigger,
yeah.
things like that, you know, it will be
Yeah.
reviewed.
And like I said, I've talked with my neighbors and they're all in the same boat.
I understand. I understand. Mr.
Okay.
Oder, you want to say something?
The only thing I would advise you, though, the state is looking to widen Highway 98. They have precedence. So if they decide to add 2 more lanes and then move the sidewalks and everything else, there's some of that we can't control. They
You
come
said
down
98.
and say.
She
"Guess
lives
what?"
on Hollywood.
I'm on Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I shouldn't-
That's
But
okay.
anyway, but he's still, they could come in, the county can't
Right.
come in and say, we're going to widen this.
Right.
But you're talking
We don't
about your
have some
backyard.
We're talking backyards anyway, so,
Okay.
yeah.
That'd be a
that's
big
It was
wide.
just the variance of, the 3.5 versus 7.5 from Fort Walton to Mary Esther. And it's been brought up by a few people, so.
Okay.
Isn't that weird bubble where it's kind of you're on the line, you got neighbors that
Yeah.
are Walton and neighbors that are Mary
Yeah.
Esther.
I'm like 4 doors down, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm, no guarantees, but you justify it and it makes sense.
Well, and I think with the comp plan that we're updating, that this could potentially be brought up for changes as well.
Yeah. For certain buildings and
Mhm.
got to, reason why it wouldn't work. Okay, anybody else wish to make a comment? Yes, sir. Please give us your name and address and
James McMahon, 612 Hollywood. The tubes that run under the street at right there near Town Lane for the runoff, we've got a problem there. I don't know if you're aware of it, Mr. Cherry and Mr. Lindsay were this morning. It's a sinkhole. And I know that's county, but can we nudge the county to do something permanent with it?
it's a sinkhole.
Yes, sir.
Have you looked into it? It's a sinkhole. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. That's what we want you to do. Thank you.
So the sinkhole formed a few weeks ago, a little sink, not a big one, about this big. And Mr. McMahon told me about it. We went and looked at it right away. We called the county out to look at it and to see if they would maintain it and fix it. And so they patched it and they cambered it, but they couldn't see anything because there's too much water in it. And so we dug out our ditch on Town Lane side to try to drain it faster. It needed upkeep anyway. So we did that last week, and now we're waiting for the rain to go down so they can come out and recamera it to see what needs to be done. But more than likely, it's been my experience that when you have that directly over a big culvert, that the culvert's got a rusted place in it and it's sucking sand in it.
Okay.
Base of the road.
It
So-
belongs to the county?
Well, it's somewhat debatable, but when I talked to them in person, they said they would take care of it if I would take care of the ditches before and after.
Okay.
And so right through there, there are culverts that are maintained by the county. There's culverts that are maintained by the city, but that is a county road and that is,
Yeah.
they're accepting
Their responsibility. Great.
because that's a major job because they're going to have to,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
And who are you for the record?
I'm Sean Lindsay, I'm the director of Public Works.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean Lindsay, director of Public Works.
That's satisfactory? Take some time. Let it work through the process.
In the meantime, could, from Memorial to Hollywood, or to Mary Esther on Hollywood there's no businesses. Could we limit the large vehicle traffic? I understand.
That would be the county. The county
Yeah.
owns Hollywood.
Yeah.
Can
So,
we-
yeah, we cannot, the city cannot do that. I highly doubt the county would, but they, if there's a public safety issue, they might. But that's a county
Well,
question.
We
not-
do have school buses and.
Right.
And the added weight.
Yeah, I
the
don't disagree with what you're
unnecessary
saying.
weight
It's
coming
just,
down here.
we're going on other people's property and the county has a problem if we tell them what to
We
do.
can't nudge them in any way.
Well, that would be, no, we're working it now. Let it
Okay.
drain and let's go that
Okay.
way. I mean, we
All
can,
right. I would just hate to see.
yeah, no, I
a
understand your
loaded school bus,
concern. That
go
would
over that
probably
and
do
then
it. If
pull
a
out.
school bus went in there and got stuck, the county would probably come out a little quicker. But anyway, I'm just joking with you, but I'm just saying it. But thank you for the information. Anybody else?
Thank you for letting us know. that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate that because a lot of this stuff we don't, but you got the right person. Okay. All right, moving on to unfinished business. 10.1 is the second reading of ordinance 2025-01, the lot split and lot consolidation. You want to go ahead?
Good evening, council. For the record, Tyler Reed, Community Development Director. Tonight, we're presenting the second reading of ordinance 2025-01, lot split and lot consolidation. Recent proposals for lot splits within the city of Mary Esther have demonstrated a need for clear and structured regulations to guide development and to preserve neighborhood character. The city currently only has the means to subdivide a parcel into 3 lots or more through the subdivision and plating process. Florida statutes 177.031 defines subdivision as the division of land into 3 or more lots, parcels, tracts, tiers, blocks, sites, units, or any other division of land, and includes establishment of new streets and alleys, additions, and re-subdivisions, and when appropriate to the context relates to the process of subdividing or to the lands or area subdivided. Simple lot split would allow an applicant to subdivide their property into 2 lots without the need to go through the subdivision process. Allowing simple or minor lot splits is a typical practice for municipalities across the state and country. There is a need to ensure that any newly created lots adhere to zoning requirements, provide adequate access, and establish mechanisms for shared maintenance where applicable. And community interest in responsible land use and development has highlighted the necessity for maintaining infrastructure standards and shared access mechanisms. So like I said, this is the second final reading for this ordinance. The first reading took place on March 3rd, 2025, with a recommendation for approval. This concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Questions? Second time around? City?
There've been no changes to the ordinance since the first reading.
No, there has not.
City clerk, you have to read the beginning of it.
Ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance of the City of Mary Esther, Florida, creating the following sections of the Mary Esther Code of Ordinances, creating Section 7.09.08 of Article 7 titled Lot Split and Lot Combination, creating Section 7.09.08.a, B, Article 7, providing for definitions, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do you have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2025-01 by title only? Have a first?
I'll second.
I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote, please. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. And we have a passing vote, all but one. Thank you. 10.2 is the second reading of ordinance 2025-02, public camping or sleeping in city facilities, grounds, right-of-way, and sidewalks.
For the record, Tyler Reed, Community Development Director. Tonight, we're presenting the second reading of ordinance 2025-02, public camping or sleeping in city facilities, grounds, right-of-way, and sidewalks. The Florida legislature recently adopted chapter number 2024-11, Laws of Florida, making it impermissible effective October 1st, 2024, for counties and municipalities to authorize or otherwise allow public camping or sleeping at public buildings, on public grounds, property, or rights of way, except for very particular circumstances, such as for designated recreational uses. Chapter number 2024-11 of the Laws of Florida places an obligation on counties and cities to proactively avoid violations of the new law. Staff requested feedback from council and law enforcement on the best approach to demonstrate proactive enforcement of the provisions of Chapter 2024-11. At the December 9th, 2024 regular City Council meeting, Lieutenant Rodney Owens of the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department provided comments in favor of those provisions. Updating and providing signage to indicate these provisions was also discussed. The first reading of the proposed ordinance was on March 3rd, 2025, and this is the second and final reading. This concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Is there any questions? Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed since the first reading.
City clerk?
Ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the City of Mary Esther, Florida, creating the following sections of the Mary Esther Code of Ordinances, creating Section 14-7 of Article 1, Chapter 14, titled Prohibition of Public Camping or Sleeping Within the City Buildings or Its Grounds, creating Section 14-8 of Article 1, Chapter 14, titled Prohibition of Public Camping or Sleeping on City Streets, Sidewalks, Right-of-Way, and Other Public Ways, creating Section 14-6, Article 1, Chapter 14, providing for a definition of public camping or sleeping, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2025-02 by title only?
I'll make that motion.
I have a first?
I'll second.
And I have a second. Please vote. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. And we're unanimous. Thank you. Item 10.3.
That was only for city-owned properties, correct?
Yes, correct.
So just letting
Yeah, not
the record,
private.
yeah.
Yeah, no commercial. Yeah, just what the city has.
businesses, it's just
Right.
city-owned.
No park benches in the wildlife center or something. 10.3, second reading of ordinance 2025-03, photo speed enforcement in school zones. Wish to speak to that, city manager?
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, so at our last council meeting, we had the first reading of this ordinance. We've not made any changes to this ordinance. There is one thing I would like to clarify is that at the last meeting, there was a condition of submitting this to DOT first to get their approval. We reached out to DOT and their response was that we would need to adopt an ordinance first, and then we can send it to them and they will review it. It did not sound like it'd be a very, it sounded like it was a pretty straightforward process. And so if the council adopts the ordinance, we will put it together, send it to DOT for a permit. We would also send staff to training and start the process of selecting a vendor.
Thank you. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. This is more for the city lawyer and law enforcement. I've read on some social medias, which, you know, I'm a fan of those, that these are really not enforceable. It's more of a, quote, citizen's arrest warrant, if you will. Please,
Would you
I mean,
please?
educate us. I mean, I don't believe anything I read on social media, but this individual
He reads
made
it
this
in.
comment.
Chad Ruiz, Sheriff's Office. Yeah, I read the same post and I giggled through most of it. There are a lot of Facebook lawyers out there. Every ordinance is written slightly different, so it depends on the vendor that you pick. Some use later, some use radar, or some use different things. Just know that whatever you put in your ordinance, essentially what ends up happening is they're violating an ordinance violation. The owner of the vehicle is responsible for the vehicle, the person gets it. Through most of the review processes, if someone is not to actually be cited, there's a other side of the ticket, you flip it over, there's an affidavit you sign that so-and-so is driving my vehicle that makes that person liable for them, okay? Without getting too deep in the weeds on it, essentially, if the person, typically most of the way the agreements are, if the person doesn't pay for the ticket within a certain amount of time, depending on the agreement you have with the company, it is then referred to the clerk of courts. It goes through the process, it becomes what's called a UTC or Uniform Traffic Citation. It then takes on the form of an actual ticket. Okay, and then if they don't pay that, then that brings all of the points and all the issues that come along with that. So that's, it 100% needs to be paid. It's not a citizen's arrest. It is actually an ordinance violation. Again, it's depending on the language that's put in the ordinance by every individual city.
You satisfied with that answer?
I'd like to say something. Councilmember Odor, I know just from personal experience in running the red light in Gulf Breeze, it is treated like a code violation. It's not an actual points or insurance points. Now, if I failed to pay that ticket, it would have been converted over to a traffic citation. They then send it over to their, police department. But as of it was issued, it's more treated as like a code violation.
Correct.
I did pay that ticket, by the way.
Did pay it. That's my
Yes, sir,
next
I did.
question.
I haven't gotten any
Okay.
notices yet, so.
It was $186.
Whoa, must be Gulf Breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Okey doke. Would you read the ordinance?
Ordinance 2025-03, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Mary Esther, Florida, providing for authority, establishing Chapter 18, Article 4, speed enforcement, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do you have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2025-03 by title only?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a first.
Second,
Second, Mr. Carter. Let's go ahead and vote. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
yes.
Thank you. And we're unanimous on that. Thank you. Item 11, new business. 11.1, conditional use permit for privacy fence, 161 West Miracle Strip Parkway. That was brought up from the LPA, so go ahead.
For the record, Tyler Reed, Community Development Director. The applicant, Mr. Graves, seeks approval to install a privacy fence with a gate that extends beyond the front elevation of his residence. The request is intended to enhance property security and privacy due to the unique positioning of the parcel. Given the property's landlocked configuration, except through an easement and its adjacency to commercial and residential uses, the applicant asserts that the fence is necessary for safety delineation of property boundaries. The privacy fence will run along the eastern property line and will be a total of approximately 182 feet long and a 12-foot gate not to exceed a height of 8 feet. The applicant will need to apply for a building permit prior to installation and construction. The subject property is located at 161 West Miracle Strip Parkway, and the conditional use was presented at the local planning agency meeting on April 7th, 2025, and they provided for recommendation to the city council for approval. And based on the approval, the conditional use meets the following criteria: consistency with comprehensive plan, impact on adjacent properties, compatibility with surrounding uses, adjacency or adequacy of public facilities, maintenance of the structure, environmental impact, traffic congestion, public health, safety and welfare, compliance with city codes and ordinances. The applicant also is aware of the conditions that they need to comply with, that is located in your packet. This concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Okay. Mr. Carter, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Motion to approve the conditional use permit to allow for a privacy fence with gate to extend beyond the front elevation of the principal dwelling unit, subject to the conditions therein.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a first and I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote, please. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Thank you. And we're unanimous. Great, you got your permit. 11.2, Resolution 25-04, Lot Split Application and Review Fees. Who's going to talk on that one? Tyler?
For the record, Tyler Reed, Community Development Director. Tonight, we're presenting Resolution 25-04, Lot Split Application Review Fees. The city's comprehensive fee, fine, and revenue schedule establishes revenue guidelines and a fee and fine schedule, which includes review and processing fees for planning and zoning applications. The city is adopting a lot split ordinance that will allow property owners to divide their land into two separate parcels, including the parent parcel. Fees to allow for lot splits are appropriate to recover the cost of services provided. Staff is recommending a total cost of $350. The proposed fees for the lot split application and review are comparable to those of surrounding municipalities and fall well within the average cost for lot splits in Okaloosa County. The fees will cover administrative costs, staff time, and attorney review. This concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
I have one. Why is this a resolution? When we do permitting and stuff, it's just a fee and they pay it.
Mayor, so we set our fees through resolution. So typically when we have an ordinance, we will have it refer to a fee schedule. And so this is that fee schedule.
Okay, so this is going to be for a follow-on permitting also. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not
I'm not-
following.
Most cities and counties do a fee schedule now. That way you don't have to have two readings. You don't have to amend an ordinance. So if you put into the lot split ordinance, it's $100. Then guess what? If you want to change that to 150, you got to do two readings of the ordinance to amend it.
Right, okay.
So what most places, and Mary Esther has done this as well, has gone to a fee schedule that is adopted and amended through resolution, which gives you, as a council, the flexibility and the option to do one reading to modify whether that goes up or down
Okay.
on fees.
Okay.
Whenever you adopt new
It's just
ordinances or just.
interesting that we're dealing with $350. Okay. You gonna read it?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Tyler, do they also pay the 115 to the county when they submit for a lot split?
No, so that's how much the county charges for unincorporated parcels. If someone wanted to do a lot split within the county, it's a $150 application fee for the county.
So there isn't a separate, it's just
No.
350. Okay.
It's incorporated.
Right. So we will we won't pay anything to the county through this process.
Okay.
Okay.
Question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Is that, you said 350 is what he said?
Yes.
Is that high, low, or medium compared
That
to?
is that is the average, or it's a little bit below the average. Technically, the average is $380 for the county. The highest is Destin at $1,000, and then the lowest is the county at $115. Fort Walton charges $450, and Crestview is $125, and Niceville is $225.
It's in the middle.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You want to read it?
Resolution 25-04, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mary Esther, Florida, providing for authority, amending the comprehensive fee, fine, and revenue schedule, providing for repeal, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 25-04?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a first.
I'll second.
I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote, please. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we're unanimous on that. Item number 11.3, financial auditing services contract.
Hello. Okay, Heather Day, Finance Director. Okay, the contract with Warren Averett for financial auditing services expired at the end of last fiscal year. The council can either accept Warren Averett's proposal for another 3-year term, request a different term, or initiate an RFP process to select a new auditing firm. Staff recommends that council approve Warren Averett's proposal included in the packet. Over the years, Warren Averett and staff have maintained a positive and successful relationship, and they possess extensive knowledge of the city's financial operations, departmental processes, ongoing projects, and accounting software. Warren Averett's pricing appears to be in line with expectations, especially considering that the prior 3-year contract amount was locked in during 2022 for a three-year period from fiscal year 22 to 24 without any adjustments for the high inflation rates we experienced during that period. Additionally, the amount of billable hours for our audit has increased by 144 hours from 2021 to 2024 due to several factors, including the addition of the discretionary sales tax fund, 2 new CDBG grants, 2 state appropriations, new SRF loans, including the lead and copper loan, a new bank loan, a mutual agreement with the county for a waterfront park. So these additions have contributed to the increasing complexity of the city's audit. So hiring a new auditing firm would require significant staff time to familiarize themselves with the city's policies, funds, accounting methods, and software, which will be a challenge for our limited staff while managing multiple projects. So our recommendation is to accept Warren Averett's proposal.
Okay, discussion? Any questions? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
the reason I endorse this also is, again, the audit people, each year, it's usually 1 or 2 different persons. So it's not like we hid something and the same person comes back here 3 years in a row. So if there is, and you're doing an outstanding job, if there would be a hiccup, someone new is looking at, and besides then, they also internally send it on to another person who's never come here to review it again. And I'm just looking at what the state's trying to do, that, yeah, there's more transparency we can have and show that we're more than welcome to open the books up to anybody. Come on down and look. We have nothing to hide. So, yeah, I would endorse this.
Anybody else?
How much of an increase from previous contract to this one?
Last year, we paid, the base price was $37,585. And so this year, the base price has gone to 42.5. So it is about a 13% increase, but it's not just from inflation. We have, got all the grants and different projects going, so it takes longer to perform our audit.
Thank you.
Anybody else? In that case, I have a motion to accept the attached engagement letter from Warren Averett to renew the contract for an additional 3 years.
I'll make that motion.
You have a first,
I'll second.
and I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote, please. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're unanimous on that. Great. 11.4, Mary Esther Boulevard Landscaping Grant Application and Design Task Order.
Good evening, council. I'm Sean Lindsay, Director of Public Works. So there's an opportunity we have in front of us. City of Mary Esther has an existing agreement to maintain the Mary Esther Boulevard. We've not done that routinely for a while because while it's under contract, they maintain it. That should be ending shortly. During that, the road work, they tore up most of the irrigation, and it's not been irrigated for over a year now. And so a lot of things have died. The road looks good. I think it's made Mary Esther better, safer place to drive. But for beautification, it's not been good to us, and we probably will kind of aged down our beautification anyway. In fact, when I talked to the state, they can't even find our JPA agreement we have now because it's so old. They don't have records from back then. They know we're doing it, but they can't even find it. So that's kind of the state we're in right now. I reached out to the state. They said, yes, we have funds available for you if you need them for 50% of all the construction costs. Does not pay for design. I think it should be a priority for us at this time. Number one, because of what has happened over the last year or so with the damage that was done to it, which was necessary. But also the new city hall will be on that boulevard. So those are some of the reasons we think it should become a priority. So FDOT beautification grant said they have funds available for us. All we have to do is ask, and we have to do a concept plan first. We went ahead and hired Kimley Horn after looking at several different of our engineering firms that could possibly do it, and selected them for just a real simple task to go ahead and do concept plans that will be presented tonight if you're interested. They're tasked to do the full design and administration of that grant would include $49,100. And that's project administration, data collection, landscape construction documents, irrigation construction documents, limited bid phase assistance, limited construction phase. They will produce, if you do this grant, the company that installs it has to maintain it for the first year. After that, we would have to maintain it. Part of their task would be to develop a maintenance schedule for us to follow, because there'll be different plants that have different requirements and things that we'd have to look at. So the recommendation, talk about financial impact. So the proposed task order of $49,100 and the match of $350,000 would require a budget amendment later this fiscal year. The work could start as soon as August or September, and we're not sure if it will start in August or September or October. But just to let you know, the unassigned fund balance in general fund is $2,766,416. The recommendation is two separate motions are recommended. Motion to approve the submission of a grant application to FDOT in amount of $350,000 for landscaping of the medians on Mary Esther Boulevard. That also includes irrigation, by the way. And so in the first year of maintenance. So that was estimated to cost around $700,000. So we'd be applying for half of that. The second motion that we recommend is to approve the attached task order with Kimley Horn for the design and project management of the landscaping project on Mary Esther Boulevard, and for the authorize the city manager to sign that.
And that's the 49,000.
Yes, sir.
Discussion?
I would just recommend that we do look at the types of trees that we put there, that to see which drop. I know at one point I had seen something about a magnolia. It was a variety of magnolia, but they drop a insane amount of leaves. We do have a lot of bicyclists and motorcyclists on the roads that those kind of droppings become very hazardous, and we already have a lot of public safety issues, with that. So I would just be mindful of what these trees drop as far as leaves, foliage, anything like that, flowers.
Absolutely. The Kimberly Horn is actually online here. They're going to present the next item if you approve this one. And they'll have two concepts to present, a one and a two, and they'll be able to go over the differences of those and the plant selection in more detail. I don't know all the ins and outs. And it's not a final design, they're just concept designs because that's all we could do without city council's approval.
Yeah, but I do like the idea of us redesigning these so that we do have more of a town center type look.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Carter, you have anything?
Still thinking, sir.
Okay. Anybody else?
Nope.
Okay, so I have two motions here. We'll do one at a time. The first one's like he said, is a motion to approve the submission of a grant application to FDOT in the amount of $350,000 for the landscaping of the medians on Mary Esther Boulevard.
I'll
Do I
make that motion.
have a first on that one?
I'll
Yes.
second.
I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote on that one first. Mr. Carter, how do you vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're unanimous on that one.
And sorry, who is the second on that one?
Thank you. April, yeah. Okay, this next motion is a motion to approve the attached task order with Kimberly Horn for the design and project management of the landscaping project on Mary Esther Boulevard. Okay, I have a first.
I'll second.
Lawson and Mr. Oders second. Let's go ahead and vote on that one. Mr. Carter, how do you vote on number 2?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're unanimous on that. For 11.5, we're going to have a presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Sean Lindsay, Director of Public Works. We do have Kimberly Horn on with us, and they have a short presentation to make. The point of this presentation is not that final design is a long ways off, but they need to talk to the city council about two concepts that they proposed and get feedback so they know how to propose how much money to ask from the grant, if that makes any sense. So your choice tonight will influence what they would submit there. Not that the final design is approved, and it can change throughout that process of final design, but this is just a conceptual look at what they have.
Okay.
And I'll turn it over to them. Elliot, you're and your team ready to present?
Yeah, we are. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you all for letting us join the council meeting tonight. My name is Elliot Capers. I'm with Kimberly Horn. I've got my colleagues Charlie Johnson and Aaron Stewart on as well, just to take some notes and be a part of the presentation as well. So I'm going to share my screen here, and please let me know if you guys have any issues. Well, let's see. So I am not, we did a test presentation earlier this afternoon and was able to share my screen, but I'm not able to share. Let's see if we can do that.
You should be good now.
Okay, yep, there we go. 1 second here.
Here he goes.
Okay, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Council members, are you guys able to see the screen?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Okay. So my name is Elliot Capers. Again, I'm with Kimberly Horn. We're going to present to you all the conceptual landscape plan for the medians along Mary Esther Boulevard. In particular, we're presenting to you 8 medians and a triangle median, if you will, along Page Bacon. So our scope of work is going to be from US 98 to Page Bacon Road. in the presentation, I'm going to give you guys some meats and bones of sort of the, a couple of the medians that we're going to go through. And then as we go through both of the concepts, I'll kind of give you the flavor and the design of both of the concepts. And have any questions, feel free to give us some questions at the end. We'll start off here with the first median. And again, if you are having any trouble envisioning where the context is, we can always refer you back to the key legend. So again, this is median 1 just off of US 98. And again, as Sean mentioned, this is a conceptual landscape plan. So specific trees, specific plants are not placed or have not been, directly thought out yet. There's still groups. So as you see hatches, or if you see plants, or if you see trees, those trees that we're thinking of are grouped into these categories. So for canopy trees, we're thinking of live oaks, oaks, tulip popular trees, Florida elm trees. So really the goal and the safety, maintenance, and aesthetics. So, we are within an FDOT right of way. So there are a lot of considerations that we have to take into effect in terms of plant layout. So you'll see these kind of bolded dashed lines across these boulevards, and what those signify and indicate are offsets and visual datum lines for cars at intersections. And so along the boulevard, we have these limitations where we obviously have overhead power lines that go across the boulevard, which limit us to the height restrictions of canopy trees. But not only that, but we have sight lines that go across these medians that also limit how tall the trees can be and how tall the ground cover could be underneath them. With this first median pulling in off of US 98 onto Mary Esther Boulevard, the goal is really to create a sense of arrival for Mary Esther, really to, sort of beautify these medians, as Sean mentioned. And a way that we can do that is to safely aestheticize the medians through landscaping. And I think with some of the plant structures and the plant layouts that we have, we can really accomplish that. The goal really is, as you're pulling in off of US 98, to really provide a sense of arrival for Mary Esther Boulevard. So really the idea is to provide some pops of color with some encore azaleas. So all of the species that we're presenting in the boulevard have to be 24 inches and below in height at maturity. So the species that you see are all of dwarf variety, and are evergreen in the nature of being maintenance friendly. I've heard a council member say, we want to be really careful in the selection of the trees that we put out here. And so that was at the forefront of our thoughts when we're laying out the planting design and the tree layouts of each of these median species, or you see some of these notes that we have along the boulevards. And really what these signify is just our adherence to the FDOT right-of-way code. So as you get away from signalized intersections, you get more limited in how you can lay out your plant structure. So as you move away from the boulevards, at the end, the bullnose, if you will, of each of these medians, were strictly required to adhere to only ground cover. So you'll see as we go through these, the bullnose from 100 feet at each intersection, we're not allowed to actually plant a tree. So as you can see, this first median doesn't have a lot of limitations in terms of plant layout, but as you go through some of the other medians, we would be severely limited to just ground cover and shrubs. This first median in particular, pops of color with encore azaleas, live oak canopy trees, and some understory trees that being potentially crepe myrtles, Dahoon hollies, little gem magnolia trees. So things that would be maintenance friendly, but also adhere to overhead restrictions and site datum lines as well. I'm going to pop over to the third landscape median. So again, I'm going to give you guys just the flavor of the design for a couple of these medians to save some time. I'll switch over to the second concept and we can answer any questions that we have. The biggest kind of difference between concept one and concept two, again, this is still concept one. This is just median number three. The biggest difference is that concept one, you're going to see some palm trees, some sable palmettos that are being introduced as a part of the concept. And then in concept two, we've decided not to show any sable palms. It's just an idea of kind of different style of play on plant structure. So this is median three, and again, I'll just kind of flip back to the key legend just to kind of show you where this is at. This is just before Hollywood Boulevard, so right in front of the Hertz Citgo gas station and a Dollar Tree. So again, just right before Hollywood Boulevard. And really, again, the idea is best as we can while maintaining safety and adhering to site data mines and clear overhead storage structure. So really providing that kind of sense of arrival as you're kind of moving through the boulevard while creating some semblance of repetition with plant structure. So again, providing those dwarf azaleas as a part of a pop of color, if you will, along the boulevard, and then providing some sable palmettos on each end of a kind of a sodded maintenance strip. That really provides a canopy play between just a regular canopy tree, single canopy tree, and a structured grouping of three sable palms. And so really the thought as we're moving through here and the thought and the safety of the design is, one, adhering to the FDOT right-of-way restrictions, and two, thinking about what the maintenance will be in the future for the boulevard and for the medians. So you'll see that these hatches that you have or that we're showing, all correlate to these different groupings of plant massings. This particular hatch, this dotted hatch that you see, is representative of sod. And so we've provided some strategic breaks in the medians along the boulevard that have these large swaths of sod. And so that's strictly just to, think about how sod gets in and grows into the plant beds now. And how easy it would be to maintain in the future to have a single break of sod up against a shrub area as opposed to kind of a wiggle waggle sort of kind of like we have now where the grass grows in and it's just really hard to maintain.
Question,
go ahead. Sorry.
When you say maintenance, are you including water consumption as well?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, so most of, or if not almost all of the species that we're recommending are native to Florida. So very low water requirements and very low water requirements, if all.
Thank you.
Maintenance was a top concern of the staff when we were working with Kimley Horn, and also to be as native as possible. Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest difference between concept one and concept two is the cabbage palm or the sable palm, which is the native palm of this area. Is that the main difference?
Which has the palms? Two?
One has a palm. The price isn't much different.
That's correct, Sean. Yeah, the first concept, the price really isn't that much different. Really, between concept one and concept two, it's the sable palmettos that just like Sean had said. So in this first concept, you'll see some sable palms as you go through the first kind of 5 medians. Concept two, there's no sable palmettos. Really wanted to introduce the idea of including sable palms. Sable palms do really well in this area. Are easy to maintain. Obviously, we have to maintain a clear height story of 8 feet clear trunk of all canopy trees that are in these medians. So that means that the trees that you're going to see that have these sightline datums through them have to be at least 6-inch caliber. So they're going to be at least 20 feet tall at the time that you plant them. So again, with palm trees, the canopy of palms are a lot higher than canopy trees in general. So you're able to kind of get you're able to kind of get more bang for your buck in terms of how many you can put in there, and it still provides a really wonderful aesthetic in between native grasses and native palms, or native palm, if you will. I will switch over to concept two to kind of give you guys sort of this first two flavor same general idea that I did for concept one. And then we can go through some of the questions that we may have. Again, same structure. So US 98 to Page Bacon Road. And this is going to be the first median of concept two. Again, this is, same flavor, same structure. Really want to provide a sense of arrival for Mary Esther as you pull off of 98. Really the things that we remember as folks that are traveling through Cape looks like, and you remember what it feels like when you're driving down the boulevard, and it helps create that sense of arrival for businesses, and it helps revitalize local areas just by aestheticizing the landscape. So that was the flavor of both of these concepts, and really trying to utilize the encore azaleas. It's a really hardy, cold hardy, evergreen shrub that provides wonderful pops of color. We've got 3 different varieties. So really playing those colors off of, or understory trees like crepe myrtles that we can play on different colors as well between white and purple. So really, as you're pulling along the boulevard, this second concept has a little bit more structure and along the way as you're kind of, really throwing in the idea of aligning the boulevard with some live oaks, some really tall canopy trees, and providing those pops of color for the azaleas as you kind of really, aestheticizing and enhancing that sense of arrival as you pull onto the boulevard.
I have a question or concern. So I would like to, both concepts actually are beautiful, and I appreciate all the work that went into them. I would like to make sure that no matter which concept, that they're all native Florida plants. Also, I'd like for it to be that we take in mind what these trees drop, what these shrubs drop, because not only is it a safety issue for like our bicyclists and motorcycle, but it also goes into our storm drains. So if we have something that sheds a lot, since we do have a lot of storm drain issues, I'd like that to be a factor as well, so that they don't clog our stormwater drains at this point.
Well, on kind of piggybacking on that.
Absolutely.
I think, as we talked about earlier, the mature canopy that we have on 98 that is really supposed to be the identity of Mary Esther. If we're turning onto the boulevard and we see a bunch of palm trees, it doesn't continue into that feel of what we're going for is the mature, canopy that we like to have, which are oak trees, which do drop. So we're going to we have that on 98 already. But I think we should stick to the integrity of what we find connected to, so turning on and seeing a bunch of palm trees and ligustrums and stuff like, ligustrums they can get like real odd shapes because they are kind of, to me, a hedge and so I think really stick to that. I guess the southern feel is kind of what we really bonded to on that 98 road, and not to turn off and be like, here we are in Miami, because we're not. So just, I think to keep that connectivity to flow, that's all. But I don't like the palm trees. Just that's me personally.
Absolutely. Well, you'll gravitate towards concept 2, which has no palm trees.
Yes, exactly.
Do we have some palm trees as you enter into Mary Esther?
Unless you look up, you don't see them.
Yes, there are.
There's a few, but that you don't. I mean, all you see is the trunk. Unless you're looking up 30 feet and you're like, oh, it's just you're not. There's nothing in the eye level.
By Holbrook Field, when you come in, there's
didn't put those
tall.
there.
No, that was the county.
That was the county.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily opposed to some palm trees, but I do echo Councilmember Cox's that we don't want to just turn down and see nothing but palm trees. I do like.
No, I think
Yeah.
we specifically told Kimberly Horn that we're opposed to those palm trees that you see everywhere that aren't native to Florida.
Correct.
And so the only palm trees he's suggesting, and is limited, are just where they make the best fit, and they're the native cabbage palm.
Mm-hmm.
or sable palm. They're ones that grow all over the Gulf Coast naturally. They're not the ones imported from North Africa. So it's not those. It's the
Yeah.
native ones that they're using. And correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, any of that. I don't want to misrepresent. Also, azalea is a native to Florida.
Mhm.
Encore azalea was developed in Texas from a plant that came from, I think, the Thailand. But I still think it's kind of native. It's an azalea. It's just a, we as humans, we take plants and we grab their best features and, create new varieties. But I still think that's in the spirit of what you're talking about still, right?
Well, like crepe myrtles are not necessarily native. They were imported here. But like the dogwood.
I was gonna say, the dog.
The dogwoods are actually native here.
I had an argument with Oliver about crepe myrtles. He says they are native. The varieties that we may have are not, maybe not native.
Yeah.
There are native crepe myrtles.
Well, they originated in China back in the day, but well before any of us were alive. But yeah.
Yeah, he's saying they're naturalized now. So
Well, just
Question,
I think, I mean,
Sean?
outside of going and taking it out of the woods here, I mean, we're just, him and hawing, but I think what we're just going for is the aesthetic feel is we want to continue that feeling of Mary Esther that we have attached to so much, come around that bend and still have that same continuity.
Mr.
That's
Carter,
really
you
what
had a
I'm going for.
question?
Yeah, Sean,
yes, sir.
between the two proposals, which one is the maintenance crews would favor the most as far as weed eating, cutting, and maintenance? Is there a difference?
No, there's no real difference. Each plant has its own type of maintenance schedule that we'll have to learn. We'll be getting from Kimley Horn a document that tells us how to do that. We'll be looking at outside recommendations. We won't murder crepe myrtles anymore.
The amputation.
Yes, we won't do that. And but there's also things that were in both concepts we talked about, like root barriers. So underground root barriers that keep one plant from spreading into the other area. That's going to help a lot of maintenance. It reduces a lot of our mowing that we have to do now. So that's going to reduce maintenance. So it'd be more like it's different maintenance. So now it's more like, fertilization schedules, making sure we water appropriately, hedging. I mean, yeah, cutting back bushes and things, maintaining the heights. I listened to a whole video today about how to maintain cabbage palms and how not to murder them, because there's a proper way of doing that and a wrong way of doing that. And I'm trying to educate myself because we have very few, palm trees in the Great Smoky Mountain area,
Really?
Tennessee, where I'm from. So.
But I'd just like to mention and throw out too, we've in every one of these categories of plants that we're recommending, there are native species in every single one of these categories. So every tree symbol that you see here is and can be a native species. So and that was the forefront of the thought of the design, is that 97 or 99% of this would be native species. So like I said, as I mentioned earlier, the goal and the thought behind the design was safety, maintenance, and then aesthetics. Safety's got to come first, maintenance got to come second, and we think of again the flavor of both of these concepts are very trees everywhere.
Charlie, you're breaking up a little bit unless you're being real emotional.
But there are some.
And can everybody hear me okay? This is Charlie.
We
I
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
Charlie.
Yes.
Well, I'll fill in, and I think Elliot was doing a great job summarizing everything. One thing I'd point out too is we were very careful to make sure there was proper availability of these plants at the nearby nurseries, because what good's a plant if you propose plants that you can't get your hands on at certain sizes. So while trying to respect maintenance requirements, we wanted to select species that are readily available. And, one of the big challenges we run into all the time in this is a lot of times these urban environments with these medians in the middle of roadways that got cars whizzing by them are not a native environment for plants that do grow native plants that grow in this area that normally were out in the woods. And so it's sometimes a challenge to make that balance of having native plants that can handle these tough environments as well as be maintainable to what budgets are allowed. And so, again, as Sean mentioned, we want to emphasize that this is at a conceptual stage, and we welcome any feedback y'all have got. Like everything you said makes 100% sense, especially, the comment about trees like magnolias dropping leaves. They can be slippery, they can be a maintenance nightmare. And on top of that, when they sit there in that median or upside down, we get these rains, as we always get, they can be a place for mosquitoes to grow in that sitting water. So we're trying to be aware of all of that. And again, I encourage any comments that y'all have as we move forward in this design process.
Okay,
Mayor?
go ahead.
The one that concerns me is this height of the trees. As we all know, down Hollywood here, they butchered, just carved them out, and they look horrible because they've grown way too big, and with the power lines and everything else, that I'd rather, whatever we got, if we got to get smaller trees, let's do that. But I don't want to be cutting out in 5 or 10 years because they've gotten too big.
Councilman Odor, I reviewed the plans and they took into account any overhead power lines in their design so that we wouldn't put a tree where it would interfere with that.
Good deal.
So
Thank you.
Charlie is really top notch in this area. He's one of the advisors for the FDOT beautification program.
Well, the other thing too, when the next storm comes, a limb won't hit the power line and we're out power. So yeah, again,
Yes.
if we can, let's think ahead that, okay,
Yeah.
chances of it going up are not very good.
Yeah,
It's
they're
going to
just-
come down.
Their
So,
design definitely took that into account. But the other thing that we have to remember is that once we do this, if a plant dies after that first year, we have to replace it. And so, they pay for the one time, we pay for the life of it.
And Sean, we talked about from a maintenance standpoint of there's two different types of maintenance you've got going on in these medians, right? You got the higher skill, higher quality needs of shrubs and ground covers, where you got to get in there, you got to prune, you got to do the same thing with trees, you got to fertilize appropriately, and then you've got the sod areas that are mow, blow, and go. And if push came to shove, and y'all had any limitations on maintenance long term, and this is just throwing this out there as a side thought, I've seen over here in City of Tallahassee they deal with all the time is staff limitations on how much you can take on to maintain. And what they'll often do is they will contract out some of the mow, blow, and go stuff so that those groups can get out there and knock that portion out, and city staff can concentrate on the actual maintenance of higher quality plants like shrubs and ground covers and pruning those trees. And so it's a scalable kind of thing. As you increase the sod, you've got more of that mowing. As you decrease it, you got less. And as Elliot pointed out, safety's the top consideration on this, not only for motorists driving through and pedestrians and cyclists, of that nature, but the maintenance crew too. We didn't want to put a 4-foot wide sod strip along the edge of the road and have them running a lawnmower or weed eater with cars whizzing by, because I'm sure even though it's a posted speed limit of 40 or 35, I am sure there's cars going faster than that. And so trying to think about safety of the maintenance crews out there too is a consideration.
Mayor and council, one more thing to add to this discussion, and we may have done this backwards, so if we did, that's my fault. When we get to the point of having a final design, I know some people can look at the pictures of the individual plants and conceptualize what that will look like once it's installed. I do know that we discussed with Kimley Horn the option of creating some visuals for you. That is not free, that costs money. And so if you would like to have that before you approve the final design, let us know so that we can take care of that.
Okay. Everybody pretty much got all their
Mayor?
questions answered?
I have one more question, sir.
Go ahead.
In the out years, is second, third, and fourth year, what are we looking at in cost of maintenance?
Those kind of schedules have to be developed during the design phase. We don't have a maintenance plan right now. I don't think that it would be, I think they're going to be less mowing and more of the hedge trimming and tree trimming and maybe fertilization schedules and things like that, replacements. And so it could equal out to about the same amount of staff time, or it could be a difference where, the mow and blow part is real small and the other parts are much bigger. So I don't have an answer for you, Mr. Carter, at this point, but I think that during this
Okay.
process, we'll figure that out.
That's fair. Is there any kind of insurance out there for us in case a motorist gets lost and run all this stuff over? Or will his insurance have to pay us back?
Yes, I believe so, but maybe Mr. Hayward can answer that.
Not my personal
Well, it'll be
experience,
fact
but I know
dependent,
for sure.
based on what, but yeah, if a motorist, damages city property, then their insurance will generally pay for the, repairs.
That's if they have insurance, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have with palms or without?
I make a motion for
Go ahead.
concept two.
What?
I make a motion to move forward with concept two.
Without.
Without palms.
Do I have a second for that
I'll
motion?
second that motion.
Okay, I have a second. And that means we're going to vote on it. Let's go ahead and vote on concept number 2 without palms. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
That's a nay.
That's a negative for Mr. Carter. And everybody else says you're out of luck. We're unanimous, we're not unanimous, but it passes for concept number 2. Okay, no palm trees. You got it, Sean?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item number 11.6, award of RFB 2025-01 cold applied pavement products.
Hi, my name is Sean Lindsay. I'm Director of Public Works. This line item is to approve a bid that we received. We've received one bidder from Steelmaster. They met specifications. It's also within our budget that we allocated this year for ceiling projects. This is a new concept for municipalities in this area. I don't know of too many that do that in-house. Our team went last week to Alabama to be trained on a spray squeegee machine. That machine's being delivered tomorrow morning. With approval of this bid, we can start doing sealing hopefully in May sometime. It's weather dependent. Sealing is a really good way to prolong the life of a road much longer. So you look better in between paving, and you don't have to pave as often, and so it saves the city taxpayers tons of money. And it's done at maybe a tenth of the cost or less of paving. When you do it in house, it might be a 20th of the cost. But this year we had in the 5-year pavement management plan, I think I presented to a previous city council, to do all of what we call Area 2, which is the Bryan Circle area. It's the neighborhoods off of Ruby Circle and in that area off of Page Bacon. That's Area 2. Staff recommends the award of RFP 25-1 to Sealmaster and authorizes staff to issue a purchase order not to exceed $50,000 for this year's pavement preservation work. And we'll be doing a lot more public education about that when we get closer to it, because there's like a 3-hour time when you do it, and you can open the road. So typically we'll close the road at 8 in the morning when traffic kind of leaves. We'll try to be completed with our sealing by lunch or by 1 o'clock, and then hopefully get it open by 4 o'clock.
Is this a oil you put on?
It's a liquid road is a cross between a regular sealer and a slurry seal. It's right below what you call a micro pave. So it's basically the very similar ingredients that you have in regular asphalt, except instead of big gravels, you have like more of a sand aggregate, and it's put down cold applied. So you put it down, it kind of looks brown, and then as it dries, it turns black.
Okay. I was curious. Any discussion on it? Okay, do I have a motion to award RFB 2025-01 to Sealmaster and authorize staff to issue a purchase order not to exceed $50,000 for this year's payment preservation work, and authorize the city manager to sign the purchase order?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a first
I'll second.
and I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote, please. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, we got a yes from him and a yes from everybody else, so we're unanimous on that.
If I may.
Go ahead.
Mayor, I had the opportunity to come in and talk to Sean about this. He showed me some really educational videos. If you haven't seen them, I highly recommend them. Again, it made it simple for me to see a picture and listen and understand it like that. Also, my concern is, one of these is my street, is how this is going to work and how, but also I think all the neighbors have already started laying that groundwork, understand that at 8 o'clock in the morning till, you can still drive over it, but you really want to drag this into your driveway, or your dog or cat runs across and drags it into the house. Yeah, okay. So it's going to be, take some coordination to make sure this goes well, but very educational. I've already started sharing them with people I know. So thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you. Well, you got it. Item 11.7 is award to purchase order for Azalea Park trail materials.
Hi, I'm Sean Lindsay, Director of Public Works. The council has already awarded RFP 2024-2, pervious rubber pavement materials. The bid was awarded on August 5th, 2024, place services. Right now, we've been experimenting with different ways of installing it and widths, and what we decide on will require more material. We're asking the city council to approve an additional $31,420. It's difficult to estimate exactly where you're at because there's so many curve radiuses in this trail. So if it were a really straight trail with right angles, it'd be really easy to estimate. And I say that because I may have to buy additional materials, but I don't think it would be enough to have to come back to city council for it. It'd be within our allotment. On the financial impacts, I just want to say this amount falls within the amount we budgeted, which was $160,000 for the park development last year for Azalea Park. A budget amendment would be needed as much of the budget that was scheduled to spend last year was not spent due to material delays. This material had a back order log that lasted like 4 or 5 months, bringing it into this year. And then it came during the snowstorm, and you have to be above 50 degrees to actually do the work. And so we weren't able to start in the fall as intended. So that's what staff recommends approval of the purchase order for $30,049 to place-based services for rubber and binder for Azalea Park, and authorization of the city manager to sign that purchase order.
Any discussion?
Will this take care of some of this kind of uneven spongy spots you feel? Is this what this is intended to do?
Well, it's the same material that we had last time. We found a couple of differences in the spongy spots. So a lot of those hardened up over time.
Okay.
And some of them, like right now, we're working on a difference between when you stop one day and start a new day. In between those stops, it gets a little spongier, but it kind of hardens up over time.
Right.
But we're going to work on this week. Adam Roth, the park superintendent, came up with a new technique that he's going to try. And I think it might work where he doesn't leave a smooth edge between, so there's no sharp line. Well, he's been tapering it. So the tapering is what we have been doing, and we've also done a solid stop. And both of those kind of still result in that. So now he's going to put more of a ragged edge. So when we join it up with another ragged edge, it'll be smooth, but it hopefully will result in harder, more consistent pours.
On the thickness, so you're going from 1 inch to 1.5 inch?
Yes, sir. And we're going from 5 feet to 5.5 feet, but we're actually putting down 5 feet and 8 inches because when we do the turn down curve, there's an inch on each side that's totally under the backfill. So in the results of 5.5 feet.
Okay. Mr. Carter, you have anything about rubber
No, sir.
asphalt? Huh? Okay.
No, thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve the purchase order for $30,049 to place-based services for rubber and binder for Azalea Park, and authorize the city manager to sign the purchase order?
Also make that motion.
First, and we have a second. Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, it's unanimous. 11.8, selection of mayor pro tem. Okay, do we have any nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councilmember Oder.
Really? Okay, we have a nomination for Councilman Oder.
Councilman Oder want to be mayor pro tem.
Does Councilman
Sure.
Oder wish
I
to be?
Be my honored.
You'd be honored. Oh, boy. even without that nasty
I
comment.
second.
Okay, we have a second. Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Bernie, you are my official mayor pro tem. All right, you got the meeting. I'm going to the ball game.
You're in trouble.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, oh boy, it's terrible. All right, 11.9. Thank you, Bernie, for accepting that responsible position there. 11.9, city clerk performance review. City manager.
Yes, sir. Mayor and council. So our city clerk, Dylan Morris, reached his 1-year anniversary as city clerk. So consistent with the direction from council at the meeting on December 5th, 2023, his performance was evaluated using the same tool as other department directors. We did make one change to item number 5, since the city clerk does not have any subordinates at this time. And so that change was made. The overall score was 4.22 out of 5, so a very commendable score. This represents performance that is significantly exceeds performance standards and accountabilities. Throughout his year, Dylan demonstrated exceptional performance. He was a team player, supportive of the mayor, city council, staff, and the public, and contributed to a positive working environment. And I was particularly impressed by his annual work plan and quarterly reports. His commitment to professional development is also commendable, as he demonstrated progress towards his MPA degree. So he's doing all this while in graduate school, and his certified municipal clerk designation. He's already received more than half of his educational points. If approved, the city clerk would move up on the pay schedule from step 1 to step 2. And this is being presented to the city council because per our charter, the city council, this position is directly under the city council. And so my recommendation would be to motion to approve the performance review for the city clerk as presented.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Great job.
Good job.
Good job.
Okay, how about a motion to approve the performance review of city clerk as presented?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first,
Second.
and we have a second and a third. Okay, let's go ahead and vote. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations, you big pay increase there.
Yes.
Oh, I thought
Good
we were
deal.
Bumping it down.
Well, okay, do I have a motion for that? Okay. All right,
That's
10,
ours.
11, 10. We only got 30 more. Consideration of operations, maintenance, and management O&M contract with Jacobs. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Sean Lindsay. I'm the Director of Public Works. It's good to meet you.
Where are you been all night?
Getting tired of you, by the way.
You wanted to come to earlier meetings. I told you you'd be tired of me tonight.
I am.
Gonna split these up a bit.
I know that we have
Need more staff.
Hayward here to answer some legal questions. We have Jacob's staff here that can answer a question from their side, but I just want to go over a few things. I guess I've been assigned as the lead on this by the city manager, although he was with me the whole time. And also Heather, and we worked really hard on this. Also, big thanks to Okaloosa County sending one of their engineers to help us. And we followed council's direction. We've been negotiating for this, what seems like a long time with Jacobs, but we wanted to make sure it's right. And no one's done this, I guess, for about 20 years.
It's been a while.
So there's not a lot of comparison between what we have going forward and what we had in the past. So I wanted to emphasize that. Some of the big differences are there's a little bit more check and balance. There's a 90-day notice for termination for cause and also for convenience. So, there is a way out with 90-day notice of the contract. We included a transition plan, and the base fee will go for the first part for 15 months instead of 12 months. That is to align it with our fiscal year, so there won't be an increase for 15 months as well, which is nice. And that will keep renewals and increases to align with our budget. So we wanted to do that. That's one difference. Another one is requiring a dual certified operator for the project manager at the discretion and approval of the PW and CM. The committee, and it was heavily influenced by Okaloosa County, thought that a dual certified A would be appropriate. That's really hard to find. And so at least a dual certified C what was decided upon. And although we do expect them to try to find or at least get people promoted to Bs and As that are in that project management position so they can encourage people below them to come up to at least that level. That came from the county mainly, and I think it's a good idea. Another one that's different is for this is Hayward's making. This is a genius of Hayward, but he said, you know, if there's ever a dispute in what the contract means and what it doesn't mean, you first look at the contract. If there's still a non-agreement, you go back to the proposal, and then if there's still no agreement, you go to the request for bid, what we laid out, what we're expecting. And so I did want to mention that 90 days because we put in the RFP that would be 30 days, but neither party felt that was enough time. It would actually probably be much longer than that. Also, you know, in the attachments to this, it aligns with the asset management plan. As you know, last year you passed an asset management plan for water and sewer, and there are certain benchmarks that have to be met with that plan. The plan also can be amended and brought before you each year. I think it's in July for any updates. Part of that is defining levels of service and bringing that to you. Although this plan does mention levels of service for the things that, like for rereads and service requests that come to City Hall, but the level of service goes much broader than that, and to like how often do you do different things during the regular operations that we don't really see in City Hall, but it's out in the field. So it also states level of service. It does provide a timetable for completing that. It has a transition plan of like 6 months. In the 6-month period, you're thinking, well, why do they have the transition? It's the same crew. But when we started looking at our proposal for what we were currently getting, we realized that there needs to be a transition plan to bring the staff levels that of Jacobs up to a level that we are expecting with the new contract. And so that 6-month period is kind to transition them going forward with a new way of doing things in several areas. And that's pretty much all I have. Staff recommends approval. And like I said, we have Jacobs here if you have questions for them, and we have Hayward here for legal questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, the Jacobs crew that works day to day, thank you guys for your service. The hard work that y'all do and the dedication has been commendable for obviously some of you for decade or more. So, to the upper management, sometimes that communication between upper management and the cities gets broken down and with changes. And as you can tell, our city is in a different place than we used to be 10 years ago. And so I'm really looking forward to a new contract, a new relationship with Jacob, and a fresh start, basically, but with the same tried and true staff that have always delivered, no matter any issues that have arisen, whether it be from our end or Jacob's end or just natural disasters. So I do appreciate all the hard work and look forward to getting on the right page, basically, to start. So thank you.
The new chapter.
Yes.
So a couple other, you mentioned a few things, and those are really good. You know, we do have really good people here working with us and in the day-to-day operations and handling, particularly in times of crisis, emergency, they do outstanding. One of the things that aligns with us is purchasing. So in the past, purchasing has been a little different, and sometimes it can get us in trouble with auditors. So the new contract has Jacobs pretty much following our purchasing policy, with the exception of being able to do $1,000 without going to the purchasing policy. Another thing I need to point out is that the current contract with Jacobs is $138,966.59 lower than what we're paying now. So, and there's some other differences. There's a cap at 4% of the annual increases, which won't start for to 15 months from now. And it's based on the CPI.
Okay. Yeah. And that 138,000 is for palm trees?
Yes. Yeah. Most of that's for palm trees.
Just checking. Yeah, all in my yard. Okay. Well, thank you, Sue. Okay. Any other discussion? Mr. Carter, gonna say something?
Yeah, welcome aboard. I appreciate
Okay.
the comments of Councilman Sutton in regards to the past performance and looking for a great future.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve O&M contract agreement with Jacobs?
I'll make that motion.
I have a first.
I'll second.
I have a couple seconds. Great. Mr. Lawson, second. We'll give it to him this time. All right, let's go ahead and vote, please. Mr. Carter, how do you
Yeah.
vote?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And it is unanimous. So congratulations, Jacobs.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for everything. But
Yes.
yeah, keep up the good work. No breaks on Highway 98
Boy.
ever again. Okay.
Jinx it.
No breaks on Highway 98 all night long. Okay, council's standing committee reports. April, want to start?
Yes, I'd like to thank our city manager, Jared Cobb, and our mayor. We spent some time in Tallahassee, and a lot of times our citizens do not understand why we go to Tallahassee, but it's to make our little city stand out. It's you show up, you remind them that you're there. We leave a lasting impression. Sometimes it's not always good, but most of the time they at least remember us. We we did have a lot of great conversations with our local leaders, from state senators to our local state rep. So it's always very positive. And the other thing that came out is, I think that Mayor Sun and I would like to see about looking into the possibility of doing like a Citizen of the Year award, but also to piggyback that on an Employee of the Year award, because our employees do work hard. We don't have that much staff in our city, and they go above and beyond anytime they're asked. And I'd like to thank them for all the work, because these council meetings can run long. And as you can see, we did hear from one individual particularly a lot, and we all know his name by now. So, but yeah, I do want to recognize some of those employees that do really step up and shine for our city. So we thank them.
Okay. Susan?
No, I don't have anything to say.
Okay. Richard?
Your microphone. Oh, happy birthday to my husband. I've been here all night.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's get
He
going.
knows where I've been.
Still have a piece of cake, all right?
Yeah, with the mayor and myself. The mayor, myself, and Councilman Sutton went to Herbert this week to see a new plane that they're bringing in inventory. And the mayor really wanted to fly it. But it was he really liked
Prop duster,
Prop
exactly.
duster.
Yep.
It looked like that.
It was actually a plane they brought back from Vietnam that they, wore. But anyway, really enjoyed it.
Good. And that's future discussion on Crestview's got a Citizen of the Year. And I think that would be good. I think that would, recognition, find somebody that's done a lot in the city and everything, contributed in a lot of different ways, and we'll do a thing for that. So I think that's something that I think it would be low cost to the city, recognition and everything. And I think it'd be great. Yeah, it'd be great all around, huh?
Your $2 bill.
I'll give him a $2 bill. I'll give him a pile of $2 bills. Yeah, no, we'll make it worth his while. Mr. Carter, you're next.
Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. To Councilman Sutton, she can relate to this. It looks like we'll know by Friday whether or not we have a donor. So we spent the day in Dallas, and that was an eventful trip. We were there as long as it was time to drive back home. When we say it was in the doctor's office as long as it took us to drive back. So,
Oh boy. Well, we
But,
all wish you have our prayers. So
thank you for your support, and I know, April, that you could relate to it. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, I won't know for sure, but maybe the maybe the June meeting, I will be home.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Hey, whenever it happens, it
Need to
happens.
be. You're where you need to be right now. So we support you.
Thank you.
Where that is. Okay, Bernie?
Number one, I'd like to thank the public director there for getting us that $3.5 million. You've made a lot of friends around the city, which thank you for that.
Yay,
Jacobs, thank you very much. Yeah, the citizens love that. I had numerous people stop me all the time and love to see that. And again, anytime we get more grants, I know that's a little bit more audit work, but that's okay. I'm loving that. The library cooperative board meeting was on April 2nd, which was good. The county commissioner Cox was able to show up, unfortunately in a wheelchair, but she's still well. She's had an ankle issue surgery, but at least she showed up, so that was good. We're down to the only two scholarships, online scholarships left so far. Right now, the next graduation is going to be November 1st at 2 p.m. in Niceville. Right now, they're estimating they're going to have 8 more people that'll get their high school diplomas.
Awesome.
Again, Jared had it in his notes too. The Library Cooperative Training Day is April 11th. Everybody shuts down, everybody gets together, and which is good like that. Also, I had the opportunity on March 25th to go to the luncheon for the One Okaloosa EDC. They had the Eglin and the Hurlburt representatives there. Guess what the 2 big subjects were? Housing and the highways.
Yep.
So, which is interesting to me because I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but Hurlburt is going to talk about building a Air Force Air Commando Museum and having it come right off of 98 at the front gate, which to me, wait a minute, you're trying to get less traffic on 98, but yet you want to bring this gargantuan, three-story, world-class historical museum because they want to get the 11 million people a year to come here to go to that. I'm not sure how that's going to work when we trying to put less cars, but we want to put more cars. So it'll be interesting to see. And the reason I say that too is one of my many other nonprofits I work on, we're going to try to work with that and some of our guys that should be in there. Eagle Claw, those of you who don't know what that means, back when the Iranians took those people hostage, that was the Americans' idea of rescuing to try to get them. Unfortunately, as you all know, that did not go well in Desert One. So I'm going to be out there for that. Besides, I knew numerous of those guys who didn't come back from that. The other thing going on, the Eglin Federal Credit Union's openings on April 16th. Also, I've signed up for the AFSOC, what do they call it? The 35th anniversary event, which is June 6th out on the island. So, and basically that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Hayward?
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
City Clerk?
As always, please check your mailbox if you haven't. Do your ethics training, do your cybersecurity training. If you have not let me know that you want to go to the Okaloosa County League of Cities dinner, please let me know tonight. And I will remind you all next month as well, but I will be out of town May 18th through the 23rd for the International Institute of Municipal Clerks Conference in St. Louis. So I will respond to emails when I can, but if you need me, try not to. And finally, looking forward to another year.
Okay, congratulations. Who are you again? Okay, City Manager.
I quit.
Wait.
Yes, sir. Just one thing, the Parks and Greenway Master Plan, we're having a public workshop on April 24th, 6 p.m. at the library. There is also a survey that is online. It is on our social media site as well as our website. The website's pretty easy, cityofmaryesther.com/survey. So please come out to the workshop and submit some comments on the survey.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we're adjourned. Long night. Thank you, Larry.
On Houston.
Yeah,
Good
forget
night,
you.
everyone. Thank you. Hello, Cat Ruiz.